Welcome to Nerdy Psychology, where your mind's not as messy as it seems. We break it down with a little curiosity and make sense of your thoughts and your themes. So be curious, stay kind, keep your mind nerdy.
Have you ever walked into a room and immediately you felt the mood shift? No one said anything, but you could feel it. It's like tension or irritation or just something was off. And somehow your body picked it up. Or maybe this feels more familiar. Someone you care about is having a bad day. And before you know it, you're having a bad day. Or they're overwhelmed and now you're overwhelmed. They're anxious, now you're anxious. They're upset and now you feel responsible for fixing it. And at some point, you stop and think, why does this affect me so much? And if that's you, you're not too sensitive. You just might not have healthy emotional boundaries. Hi nerds, welcome. I'm Dr. Angel and this is Nerdy Psychology, where we break down the patterns that quietly run your life. This month, we're talking about boundaries. In the last episode, we focused on saying no. But today, we're going deeper into something, well, that's a lot less visible, emotional boundaries. Because this isn't about what you say, it's about what you carry. Emotional enmeshment versus empathy. So let's start with something really important. A lot of people who struggle with emotional boundaries are actually really empathetic people. You care deeply. You're intuitive. You pick up on those subtle shifts, and that's a strength. But here's where it can get complicated. Empathy and enmeshment can feel the same at first. All right, I'm going to give you an example. You're talking to a friend and they're venting to you and you're listening and you're present and you're engaged. But as the conversation goes on, you notice something. Your chest starts to feel tight, your energy drops, your mind, it just starts racing. And by the time the conversation ends, you feel drained, maybe even more heavy than they feel about the conversation. So what's the difference? Empathy says, I understand how you feel. Enmeshment says, I feel what you feel as if it's mine. So here's a subtle pattern that most people miss. In enmeshment, you don't just care, you absorb. Like a sponge, you take it in. You're taking in their stress, their frustration, their urgency. And then your system starts to respond as if it's your responsibility, your problems, your situations. When you don't have healthy emotional boundaries, you become a container for other people's experiences. And over time, that leads to, well, emotional exhaustion and burnout and resentment that you're really not sure why. Taking responsibility for other people's feelings. This is where it gets really important because emotional boundaries aren't just about feeling things. They're about what you believe you're responsible for. I'm going to give you an example. Someone you care about is quiet. You might get those short responses, low energy, and then your brain goes, oh my goodness, did I say something? Are they upset with me? Should I fix this? So then you start adjusting. You become a little more attentive. You try to lighten the mood. You start overthinking all your words, all to manage something that may have nothing to do with you. So what's happening here? When you don't have healthy emotional boundaries, you start believing other people's feelings are my responsibility. And that belief will keep you stuck. Because now you're constantly scanning, adjusting, managing, instead of just being. I've seen this a lot with high functioning, capable people. You know, the ones that hold everything together. They anticipate the needs, they smooth things over, and on the outside, they look like, they got it all handled. But on the inside, they're exhausted because they're not just living their life, they're managing everyone else's emotional experiences too. You are responsible for your actions, your words, your intentions. You are not, and I'm going to repeat this, you are not responsible for someone else's emotional reaction. You're not responsible for how they process things, what they feel, and that distinction completely changes everything. So the question is how to stay compassionate without abandoning yourself. And this is the balance people kind of struggle with, because when you hear emotional boundaries, you might think, does this mean I have to stop caring? Absolutely not. It means you care differently. I'm going to give you an example. Someone is struggling and you feel that pull to, fix it or solve it or even just make it better because sitting with it feels uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Sometimes helping isn't about fixing. Sometimes it's just about being present without absorbing. What does this look like? Well, instead of, I need to fix this to make it better, it becomes, I can support them without taking this on as mine. And there's a simple language shift. So instead of, let me figure this out for you, try, that sounds really difficult. I'm here for you. I'm here with you. I trust you to work through this. Emotional boundaries allow you to stay connected without losing yourself in the process. So how do we start building emotional boundaries? I want to make this actionable. Step 1, notice what you're carrying. After an interaction, ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Is this mine? That question alone is so powerful. Step 2, separate without disconnecting. You can say internally, this is their experience, not mine. And you're not rejecting them, you're just not absorbing them. Step 3, regulate your own system. If you feel overwhelmed after someone else's emotions, stop, take a breath, step away, and reset your energy, because your body doesn't always know the difference. So here's a key reminder. You can be kind, supportive, and present without being consumed. Okay, I want you to reflect on this. Who in your life do you feel emotionally responsible for? Not who you care about, but who do you feel responsible for? Remember, this is about awareness, and that's where emotional boundaries begin. If this episode resonated with you, I invite you to like and subscribe, because next we're getting very practical with conversational boundaries. What to say when people cross that line? And the sponsor of this week's episode is my workbook, Your Next Chapter. And if you're realizing, I don't even know where I end and other people begin, that's exactly the kind of work I walk through in my workbook, Your Next Chapter. Because emotional boundaries start with, awareness, but they grow through practice. This helps you to identify what you're carrying or understand your patterns and build a new way of responding so you can stay connected without losing yourself. I'll link it below if you want to go deeper. So here's what I want you to take away. You're not too sensitive. You've just been carrying things that were never yours to hold. And learning healthy emotional boundaries isn't about carrying less. It's about finally giving yourself permission to carry only what belongs to you. And as always, stay curious, be kind, and keep your mind nerdy. That's a wrap. See you next week.